I'm finding Naomi Osaka really, really interesting for a lot of different reasons. I want to talk about black excellence. I want to talk about black excellence. Now, Naomi Osaka, she recently won the US Open, right? And she's wearing all of those masks with, as you can see here, Tamir Rice on here on the mask, and Breonna Taylor and Eric Garner and all the rest of that, right? And so it's terrific to see how she's taken up that mantle of protest in sport. We have such a tradition of that. And the Williams sisters have really turned out to be, a bit of a mess, let's be honest, over the last few years. So the less said about them, the better. And, I'll be grateful when, they both finally depart the scene. But in any case, I just want to read this article about her. But before I get into that, the real reason I want to get into Naomi is because she is the blueprint. Yeah, it's really fascinating the way her parents followed the Richard Williams blueprint to create superstar tennis players of his daughters, despite the fact that they had no advantages whatsoever. They had no money, no resources, no connections. You know, this is what it was, right? Because they grew up in Compton, California in the 1990s. So to watch other people then follow that blueprint and do so successfully, yeah, another black woman to do that, I find that really interesting. But anyway, let's read this article first. Naomi Osaka, how a shy introvert has found her voice to become tennis's new leader. An Instagram story posted from a protest over the death of George Floyd was the first sign Naomi Osaka was beginning to find her voice. After the killing of Floyd, a black man who died when a police officer kneeled on his neck for 7 minutes and 46 seconds, Osaka flew to Minneapolis with her boyfriend, the rapper Corday, to join those demonstrating their anger. My heart ached. I felt a call to action. Enough was finally enough, she later wrote in an article for Esquire magazine. Since arriving on the tennis scene as one of the world's brightest talents, the 22-year-old has generally gone about her business quietly without ever appearing to be all that comfortable in the limelight. The softly spoken Japanese player has described, listen, before I continue with that, Japanese, is like British. It's a nationality, not an ethnicity. You can be Japanese and black, the same way I'm British and black, okay? People have used that to try and disconnect Naomi from her African heritage. Neat trick. The softly-spoken Japanese player has described herself as the most awkward person in tennis and gave what she said was the worst acceptance speech of all time after winning the 2018 Indian Wells title. Most onlookers were won over. That speech was an endearing, giggly and self-deprecating monologue, one of the best. But Osaka has rarely seemed at ease speaking in front of large crowds. At news conferences, she would often shuffle uncomfortably in her seat before giving short answers or making references to Pokemon. That does not mean there was not a powerful voice inside the three-time Grand Slam champion who won the US Open for a second time on Saturday. Only now the world is starting to hear it. Osaka was born to a Japanese mother, Tamaki, and a Haitian father, Leonard, in the city which she shares her surname. Before the family moved to New York when she was 3 years old. In her Esquire article, she discussed how her multicultural background has led to people struggling to define her. I'm a daughter, a sister, a friend, a girlfriend. I'm Asian, I'm black, and I'm female. I'm a normal 22-year-old. I'm as normal a 22-year-old as anyone, except I happen to be good at tennis. I've accepted myself as just me, Naomi Osaka, she wrote. Another label Another label which has, before I do that, right? Has anyone heard or seen of any other activists or athletes, and any other athletes who are not black, laying it out, or laying it down like that? Who else has done that? I can only think of Megan Rapinoe, the American women's football player, who's actually, you know, had the guts to protest, who isn't black, right? So, although it's not only black people that protest, that follow Colin Kaepernick's example, it's almost only black people that do it and have the guts and courage to do it. And you can't separate that from her. Before I'm an athlete, I'm a black woman. Yes, Osaka said. And as a black woman, I feel as though there are much more important factors at hand than that need immediate attention, rather than watching me play tennis. Osaka, listen, let me show you this other article I was checking out now, yeah? Now check this out. Joe Conter and Victoria Azarenka plead ignorance over Naomi Osaka's protests. So they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit at all about, black lives, right? So this is from The Guardian. Naomi Osaka, who shook up tennis by quitting then rejoining the Cincinnati Open to protest the continued police violence against African Americans, goes into the final on Saturday with her opponent Victoria Azarenka and the British #1 Joanna Conter both refusing to endorse her principled stand after their semi-final. Conter surprised those who know her by claiming to be altogether unaware of the issue, even though it was front page news across the US that Osaka had declined to play on Thursday. I'm not really up to current affairs, she admitted. Okay, right. So not everybody gives a shit. There you go. Back to Osaka. Her move, joining other protests by American sports stars, prompted the entire tournament to pause for the day. So before I'm an athlete, I'm a black woman, right? Osaka decided to play the following day when the event resumed. While she says she's more of a follower, her actions were decisive and commanding. I was waiting and waiting, and then I realised I was the only one who's going to have then I realised I was the only one who's going to have to take the first step, she said. I just wanted to create awareness in the tennis bubble. I think I did my job, I guess. Together they watched a Netflix series called When They See Us. I've not seen that yet. Okay. The drama is based on the true story of 5 black male teenagers from Harlem falsely accused of a brutal sexual attack in New York Central Park, the Central Park 5, right? Jenkins believes, how interesting. Jenkins believes that was a pivotal moment in Osaka realizing she could use her voice more. I feel that gave Naomi and everyone a different view and perspective on how black men in America are treated, said the now national coach at the United States Tennis Association. How interesting. You could see she was still maturing in that department. Now I feel she's at that next stage. As a black man in America, it's empowering and it makes me feel great that she's stepping up, taking the heat and standing up for what, in my opinion, is right. This is now her platform. She doesn't have to do it. She can easily stay quiet, like the other tennis players, right? And I think it's brave and it makes me feel good inside. Osaka's using her platform as one of the world's biggest sports stars, and it's not only raising awareness among sports fans, it's also making her fellow players take note. Greek world #6, Stefanos, I don't know how to say that, Tsitsipas, was shown wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt during the US Open. Cool. With Osaka saying she was super proud of her friend for asking more questions about racial inequality. When announcing she would not play at the Western and Southern Open, Osaka said the aim of her actions was to get a conversation started in a majority white sport. Many within the confines of tennis will not have an understanding of the racism suffered by black people. To prove the point, even one of Osaka's former coaches, Sasha Bajan, was widely criticised for a social media post after Floyd's death, where he said, "Colour isn't an issue in Europe." Okay. Jenkins says, being a black person in tennis can lead to a feeling of isolation and not being part of the in crowd. Even though there are several prominent black players, for example, the Williams sisters, Sloane Stephens, Coco Gauff, Gail Monfils, and Frances Taifo, there are few black administrators, coaches, agents, or members of the media. American TFO, who reached the last 16 of the US Open, said, "Watching Osaka use her platform to highlight racial injustice has been special." I bet a lot of people weren't for that, but she believes in something. She's coming out with a different mask every night. She's trending. She's definitely figured out. She's definitely woke. So the 22-year-old who also wore a Black Lives Matters mask and hoodie before his matches. I'm proud of her, and I keep hoping she's doing the same thing. I'm going to try and do my things on my front. Sloane is too. I know that the Williams sisters are, all these guys. I'm just happy to be part of that list. Osaka, though, has a unique reach across the world because of her Japanese, Haitian, and American heritage. In her Esquire article, she also wrote about how tackling racism in Japan can be challenging. Osaka herself was whitewashed in a cartoon advert by one of her sponsors in the country last year. Let's take a look at that. I haven't seen that. Let's see. Real skin like, oh, look at that. Look at that. My goodness, look at that. Look at that. A manga version of Naomi Osaka has appeared to show her alongside fellow player Kei Nishikori. Look at that. That's crazy. Oh, man, you know, Central Park 5 documentary is called When They See Us, or in this case, When They Don't See Us. Yeah, when they see us, they give us hell. And when they don't see us, they give us hell. Look at that. They just disappear us. Oh my God. I'm going to get to that another time. That's crazy. That's mad. Right. Although undoubtedly already a superstar, she appears to be moulding into a natural heir to the aging icons. Talent on the court is what initially told the world she was special. Now her actions and words are marking her out as an emerging leader with the power to inspire. Jenkins agrees she's the future of the sport, and she's doing it now. Yes, man, that's incredible. That's incredible. That's incredible. That's amazing. It's really heartening to read about people like her, and you know, it does give me, speaking for myself, right? It does give me hope. There are signs of hope, you know, and in all of that, I too have to be great. I too have to play my part, and so do you. Drop me a comment. Tell me what you think about Naomi Osaka. What you think about the protests, Black Lives Matter, whatever. Anyway, actually, this is not even what I wanted to make a video about. I wanted to make a video of how Naomi Osaka is a blueprint for our future success. Okay, but I'm going to do that maybe in the next one. But in any case, see you soon. Peace.